Hi everyone. So we're going to talk about nonverbal communication, which is probably one of my most favorite topics in this class. So what is nonverbal communication? This is when we are communicating using anything but words to get our meaning across. So this could be our physical appearance, could be our facial expressions, could be movement. All of those things make up nonverbal communication. So if you're familiar with the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, that's nonverbal communication. Nonverbal makes up about 65% of our meaning when we're communicating with one another. So that's a really high percentage. Burgoon came up with that in 1994 in research that he did. So it's definitely something that we need to pay attention to. Now, oftentimes nonverbal is unintentional. We don't mean to send these messages. So for example, right now, what are you doing? Are you fidgeting? Are you tapping your foot? Are you playing with your hair? Are you biting your nails? Okay, we're not intentionally doing all those things. We're not meaning to send any message, but we might be through our nonverbal. Nonverbals actually can carry more meaning than verbal words, especially if the two are not complementary. So if I were to say, angry, I am not angry. I think I am. So in that example, my nonverbal with my fist pounding, my voice was higher, maybe I turned a little red, my veins are popping out. I'm clearly angry, even though the words I was using were telling me that I was not. Nonverbal can also be ambiguous. So right now in the middle of this video, if I yawned, well, what would that mean? Could mean I'm tired, could mean I'm bored, could mean that I have some physiological health issue, could be lots of things. I didn't mean to send a message, but that is a message we should check out. Because it is ambiguous, we do need to check out the nonverbals and make sure that we're confirming them and interpreting them in the right way. So there are several types of nonverbal communication. The first one is kinesics, which is body movement. And in your textbook, there's lots of examples of this, but one I want to go back to is what we call adapters, which is just a minute ago when I was talking about us fidgeting or scratching ourselves or things like that. Oftentimes we do those things because we're trying to bring down our own anxiety. So keep that in mind. If you are in a tense situation, maybe you're even giving a speech and you start to do those things, your body is just trying to calm yourself. Now, in a speech situation, those things can actually be distracting. So we're going to want to really be aware of those and try and overcome them. Expressions. There are 6 universal expressions. They are anger, fear, happiness, sadness, and disgust. Those are universal. So culture does not have an impact on those emotions, which I think is really cool. And when you think about a baby and they first start to smile, they're happy, right? That is a universal symbol. The smile, every country around the world means the same thing, which is pretty cool. Next is vocalics. So this is like paralanguage. It's really how you say it. It's kind of going back to my I'm not angry example. So when we think of speech delivery, this is really what speech delivery is all about. It's the paralanguage that we're using. This could be our tone. Are we super monotone? Or are we super enthusiastic when we talk? Okay. Pace. Are we really fast and talking really fast all the time? Or are we really slow? Okay. Pace. Volume. Loud, soft. Using ums and ahs. These can be referred to as hesitations, fillers. We want to be really careful because they can become super distracting. Oftentimes, we're not even aware we do them or we use them. So we want to, again, do a little self-reflection and see if we're filling in with those ahs and ahs quite a bit. And then another another type of tone is just silence. See? Awkward, right? So silence is super powerful. And when you just pause and you're quiet, it can send a really interesting message. The next one is oculesics, which is really eye contact. And the saying that the eyes are the window to the soul is really, really true. And eye contact is so, so important. It really can show confidence and trustworthiness. So I know when my kids were little and they were in trouble, I would say, look me in the eye when we would talk about what they had done wrong. Because if they're looking at me, then I feel like that honesty is going to come out of them. Haptics is another one. This is touch, another type of nonverbal. So we are really communicating emotion with our touch. So if you punch someone in the face or if you hug them, clearly you're sending different messages about your emotions towards that person. In the United States, we are very much a low contact society. So we don't just go up to a stranger and hug them or kiss them. But there are cultures in which that is very much appropriate, to hug someone, kiss them, on the cheek when you greet them. So you want to really, again, keep in mind culturally what's right and what's wrong, what's accepted. Proxemics is space or territoriality. So I love using this one when I'm in a face-to-face class, because my students come in on the first night and they sit in their seat, and that is the same seat they sit in every single night and they don't move. And if somebody moves around, they're really uncomfortable and they're unhappy. And sometimes I do an experiment where I force them to move to a different spot for a night. They're not happy, right? We are creatures of habit. We like our territoriality. I didn't assign them to these seats. They assigned themselves, but they are definitely stuck in that spot and they don't want anybody to take it. And finally, physical appearance or artifacts. We call this a halo effect. When we see someone and we just look at their appearance, what they're wearing, tattoos, piercings, color of their hair, color of their skin, that gives a halo effect. We immediately react to, oh, I'm going to like this person, or I'm not going to like this person, or I'm afraid of this person. And it can really predict, how, if we're going to take that relationship to the next step or not. So, nonverbal communication. Fascinating, lots of good information, lots of things that we need to check out. But it's really a fun area of communication. So I hope you enjoy this chapter, and we'll talk more soon.